All right, guys. So on Thursday, just a friendly reminder that your Barron's book is due on Thursday. Sorry. You need to have it here in class. There is no excuse. What's going to happen is I'm going to pass out your quizzes, have your index cards out on your desk. For 5th period and 5th period alone, you have no vocab quiz. You are more than welcome to give yourself 10 out of 10 for today. However, I am checking your index cards, so have them on your desk. As I'm teaching today, I'll be coming around to check them. So everyone clear on what's happening today. Okay, so everyone should have everything off their desk. Friendly reminder that on Thursday, your Barron's book is due. So please make sure you have it in class. You will be picking up your new scope and sequence for review. So please make sure that you are planning accordingly. All right, so who can raise your hand and let me know where we left off? Morgan.
That's cognitive here.
The 5 components.
Okay, perfect. All right, Kayla, I'm going to need your help today. Can you help me today?
Sure.
Perfect. Miko, what are you doing? What are you doing? What's the matter? Okay, so when we get to cognitive disorder, which is number 8 on your focus, right? We got 2 already, and I have a couple more coming. The first ones are arbitrary inference. Did we get that?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So we're at cognitive distortions, overgeneralization, magnification, and personalization. Those are the other 3. Yes. Kayla, when I ask, can you please hit the arrow button right here?
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you, Johnny.
Yes.
All right, have your index cards out. I am coming around. Oh, I don't care, sweetie. I will take it wherever you can get it. You need to grab yourself a quiz sheet, though. We have no quiz today, by the way, 5th period. We're just checking index cards. You can give yourself a 10 out of 10 for today, or you can just like and we'll fill it in for you tomorrow. I don't care. Okay, so overgeneralization is the belief that one incident applies to the rest of your life. For instance, if you fail my test on Wednesday, then you're obviously not going to go to college. You're obviously not going to have a future, and you're probably going to take, you're going to become a hobo and take urine baths on the streets. That's what happens if you fail one test of mine. Is that correct? Pretty much, right? So that is overgeneralization. Magnification is when you make one thing way bigger than it is. Like, for instance, if you don't go to prom, okay, your whole life trajectory is changed. Everything is wrong, and nothing will ever be the same. Is that true? No, but if you are a senior, you really should go to prom. You really should do everything you possibly can to go to prom. It's a nice milestone, but for your juniors, who cares? Personalization is when an event that has absolutely nothing to do with you, and you take full responsibility for it. So there is a drought in India. All of a sudden, that drought was because of Valentino. If Valentino got 100 on my test this week, there'd be no drought in India. So, damn.
Okay, well, I'm really studying now.
There you go.
Miss Spinner, where are you?
Go grab the quiz sheet.
8.
What time?
Number
Well,
8.
Number 8.
No drought.
Oh.
Okay. Are we good?
No.
Everyone's clear on what's happening today, correct?
Yeah.
I'm checking your cards. There is no vocab quiz today. Obviously, this isn't how I planned it. But I appreciate with you being flexible. Did you enjoy your college break? Oh, I like your 8th psych book. Is that yours or someone left it here?
It's not long.
Ooh,
No, I already have one.
I'll take it then.
Who is it in? Jackson.
Yeah.
Jackson, do you own a book yet?
No.
Well, no one has her name on it.
Guys have it.
It's Jeff.
Is it
Yeah, wait, that's mine.
I'm here to blow someone up because they left their book. They actually bought their book.
Yeah, well then they'll come see me today or tomorrow.
Oh, but
What if they don't realize until the day? Oh,
Well then they're idiots. What else am I supposed to say? Alright, here we go. Cognitive behavioral therapy. What?
I
Which one?
At 9.
The last
It's personalization. That everything is your fault. That's the Valentino one.
It's better work on that.
Everything is your fault.
Probably. All right, so cognitive behavioral therapy, which is on your study guide, by the way. It is not number 9. Cognitive behavioral therapy is an action therapy. What is action therapy, David?
So you're trying to fix the problem, right?
Okay, so what is the example we keep using for action therapy?
Wait, is that Beck's cognitive?
Who can help me out? What is the therapy we keep talking about?
It's about the dating.
Yeah, it's dating therapy.
Oh.
And what is that? What makes the dating therapy different than going to see a psychoanalyst?
Because they're actively trying to say, like, if you eat weird,
Yeah, they're going out in the actual real world with you, and they're trying to figure out all the different components here. That's what action therapy is. So, what we're dealing with is we're trying to get people to think more rationally. Do you have 60 of them? You're 60?
Wait, there's 60 of them?
No.
Alright.
Max, did you see?
Yeah, but I did it.
We see it.
Alright, so the 3 goals are to relieve the symptoms of the problem. They're to help to develop strategies. So, like, for instance, the dating example is the one we keep using. You don't want to be dating the same person, so you go to your dating therapist and you meet someone great. 3 years into the relationship, do you want your dating therapist sitting in the corner still? Watching your dates? How about 3 months in? Do you still want your dating therapist? No. They're supposed to help you teach you to respond for the future. No flip? Weird. Alright. So, this is going to be number 9. Rationally motive. This is number 9 on your focus. Okay. So, it is a cognitive behavioral therapy in which the clients are directly challenged in their irrational beliefs and hoping to change their mind because of their irrationalness, like proving it. For instance, perfect example of this is if Jackson really believed that 9/11 was an inside job, okay, I would call Jackson to my. I'm so proud, by the way.
I know.
Last week,
Did it.
he had him.
He went up to me and he was like, Nico, I did mine. And I was like,
We're so proud. The whole class is so proud. You really? You needed to do that?
Wait, what did we do?
He
he
did his
did his
index
vocab.
card.
Oh, his index cards?
Hashtag blessed. Anyway, so if Jackson really didn't believe that 9/11 was an inside job or any type of conspiracy theory, I'd be like, all right, Jackson, lay it out. Let's hear it. And I would make him go step by step explaining why it was an inside job and then shooting him in the foot every single time. Every single person in this room has believed something that was wrong, correct? And you are like defending it, and then you have that one friend who blows up your argument in an incredibly rational, logical manner, and it's the most destructive thing. And at the end, you're like, oh, damn it. That's how McCrae fights, and it's so damn annoying. It is so damn annoying. That's how he. Ugh, it's the worst. He just uses straight up punches.
He's so crazy. Everyone sleeps on the theory of how to be a shop for that.
Can I change it?
No.
There was
Alright, can I change it now?
Yeah.
It's a pretty effective way to do. Alright, here we go. Okay, so CBT is cognitive behavioral therapy. It's pretty successful in reaching people who are suffering with depression, stress disorders, and anxiety. However, a lot of people are criticized them because of the symptoms are not for the disordered behavior. All right, so on your focus, this is number 10. On your study guide, it is also there. So, group therapy. This is your definition for group therapy if you're filling it in on your study guide. Group therapy is when more than one person sits in a room sits with a therapist. Okay? It's also for your application, I would write the most common type of therapy. Okay, so there are multiple types of group therapy, or of group therapy. The first one's family counseling. Okay, and it's when family members meet together with a counselor and therapist and resolve problems that affect the family. Have you ever done it?
His name is Dr. Dan.
And you did it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Nothing makes you feel more dysfunctional than going to therapy with your family.
All we did was board games.
I have been to therapy. Well, but you're sitting there and you're talking while you're playing board games.
All I remember is we playing board games, and I was like, it was dumb.
Well, then you had a very bad therapist. I went to family counseling with my entire family to help my sister cope with her depression. We were told all the different ways that we were hurting her.
That's nice.
Yeah. So we learned a lot that day.
How old were you?
13, 14? Yeah. Yeah. She did not like the name Kimmy Baby. She thought that really held her back. Guess what she is in my phone? I was 13. Like, at that point, it was ride or die. She's the baby of the family. Right? So Kimmy Baby? And then you have self-help groups. Now, self-help groups, the most famous one is, hi, my name is Sam, and I'm an alcoholic. Yes! Okay? All of your AAs and your Narcotics Anonymous and all of those are self-help groups. Okay? Or support groups. They are going to be some of the largest, most common types of therapy. They're very, very common on college campuses, to be quite honest. There's, of course, everyone knows Alcoholics Anonymous, okay, which is why you all said, hi, Sam, because that's exactly how they start off every meeting. And then they do, well, when you introduce yourself the first time, they all say hi, and then they read off their little prayer, and all that stuff. So self-help groups are for everything. It can be for PTSD. My girlfriend, Brittany, her husband has been deployed to Iraq, Afghanistan 3 times. And every time that he's been deployed, she always participates in the self-help group or the support group for the other wives, right? They go and they talk about the struggles that they're dealing with and the news that they keep hearing on the news they're hearing from other people on base and other people. It's just a way to can open up communication and not to feel so alone. My sister doesn't really attend these. She's really quiet, so she doesn't really share. But it's a nice way to feel like you are not alone. That you are not the only one suffering. So what are the pros and cons? It's very useful of helping people who cannot afford individual therapy. It's cheaper. It's significantly cheaper, which is great. However, it exposes you. It's great because it's low cost. It exposes you to other people who have the same problem. So my sister's gone to a couple of self-help groups, and it's nice to hear other people are suffering with the same things, correct? Makes you feel not alone.
Wait, what is that picture?
It's people in a self-help group.
Oh, what's the poster thing that's like in the corner?
Darling, I don't know. You're talking about a picture inside of a picture.
Yeah, well that picture looks weird.
Thank you, Jackson. All right. Disadvantages, which is also part of number 10, by the way, is that you don't get individual time with a therapist, okay? If you have a real issue, you will not be addressed individually. Another component is that there's no privacy. So say, for instance, I went to AA last night, and then Ella was there last night too. So we all know what Ella has a problem with if she's at the same AA meeting I am. And then today at school, she walks around and she's like, oh my God, Miss Bennett was at AA last night. There's no way to kind of stop that from being spread, correct? But then I would say, well, Ella, why were you at AA last night? Yeah. Stop. So, when we're talking about group therapy, you also are sharing your therapist with multiple people, and people with severe disorders cannot cope with being in a group. If you've ever seen This Is Us this year has done a bunch of group therapies. They did the family. Anyone watch This Is Us? Thank you. Thank you. They did when they talked to Kevin and the therapist. And then the sister, Kate, she goes to group therapy for her weight loss and all that stuff. And she's sitting there talking and all that. All right. What? You had a 15-minute break to start class.
Yeah, why did we have that?
Because I had something going on. Huh? Yeah, and you got a 10 out of 10 on your quiz. But Jackson turned in his cards! Woo!
Technically, it would have been 11 out of 10.
Yeah, for real.
Still our focus.
We took a
Nico, don't complain.
Start again. It has been a day.
I'm sorry that it's been a day.
What a
It's been
day.
a day.
So much stuff. However, if you can see, I got chaos over there. Mock exams are happening.
How's your dog poop?
Yeah. Better.
I'm taking the ACT in April. I'm not sure when. Yeah. I'm not gonna be able to come to you.
Well, I guess we're spending a lot of time together after school.
Wait, so
No,
is the
I-
ACT and the mock exam on the same
No,
day?
no.
No.
That's so it's prom day. Yeah. It's prom. Yeah, it's looking at prom.
Oh no, you have to take an ACT
Yeah,
and
this
prom
is
at the
completely
same
gonna
day.
give it.
Nico, I don't want to
She's
hear it.
completely gonna give it.
Hey,
Wow.
it is way harder on girls than guys, so don't even.
Prom?
Yeah, they have to remove
Yeah.
the dresses.
The hair, the makeup, all that
Oh, yeah.
crap.
Yeah, but girls wear the same dress to every like school like.
Honestly,
I'm
I
not there.
That is true.
No.
This is true. It's too dark.
That's a good point. I didn't think about that. It's way too dark to do this. I need like.
Oh, so you have this whole thing called photos before prom?
I don't do this.
And dinner. Probably that.
Are you ready?
Well,
I'd like to. So, what this is, it's a way to treat PTSD. And essentially, so say for instance, your convoy was hit while you were in Iraq, Afghanistan. And what they would do, they would show you an image of a wreckage of a convoy, not necessarily your convoy. And then you would stare at it, and then you would move your eyes back and forth for like a long extended period of time. And because of doing that, you become desensitized to the trigger of the convoy, and your PTSD will decrease. Isn't that crazy? It's pretty controversial, just because there's not that much research to support it, but it is one way that we're trying to deal with PTSD. I'm going through. All right, effects of psychotherapy, by the way. This is number 11? Yep, perfect. So the effects of psychotherapy. Psychotherapy, what is psychotherapy? Talking therapy, absolutely. So you're sitting in a room and you're talking to your therapist, whether it's person-centered, psychoanalytic, or it's cognitive behavioral. Now, when we talk about psychotherapy, doing it at all is better than none. So, even if you don't have a psychological disorder and you are just wanting to talk, going to talk to someone is better than doing nothing. Do you have a focus?
yes.
It's number 11, darling.
How do you know if it works? How do you know it works?
Because we've seen research. We've researched this. Honestly, I would go to a therapist every other week and just sit there and just like totally vent. It would just be the greatest. I think I would be a happier human being. But I can't afford it. Because I can't afford it because I'm poor. Okay? I would suggest all of you do it, especially when you get to college. You're already paying all that money. You do get free therapy sessions and stuff at your college. I would go.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Like,
It's part of your wellness. It is so nice going. Because at college is going to be hard. Like, it's going to be great. It's going to be the best years of your life, for sure. High school is the worst. College is going to be the best, and you're already paying for it. So you might as well have someone who knows what they're talking about, who deals with this every single year, back to back. Help you kind of guide through, like, the emotions of, like, living on your own, coping with all the stuff of, like, actually being, like, a full-on grown-up. It's really stressful. It's actually kind of lonely. You're going to spend a lot more time alone than you're thinking you are. No, it is great, but it takes time to adjust. You know, no one's waiting for you to come home at night. No one's excited to see you when you get back to your dorm. And so it's the kind of adjustment of that, of not having anyone, like, sitting there waiting for you. Like, you know what I mean? It takes a time. It takes adjustment, especially if you got boyfriend, girlfriends. Oh, it only makes it worse.
what?
Well, because if they don't go to the same school you do, being pulled in different directions, all that stuff makes it much more complicated.
So which one of the psychotherapies works the best?
It depends on what you need. It depends on what you need. So you seem like a very well-adjusted young lady, which means you probably don't need behavioral or action therapy. You know, you don't need help interacting with other people. So just psychotherapy, kind of working through some of the drama that every family has. You know, the interaction that you've kind of dealt with your parents, your brothers and sisters, whatever dynamic you have, psychotherapy is the most common. Does that make sense? Just sitting there and talking through it. Because everyone's got problems. Everyone's got drama in their family. Okay? So going through and sitting there and talking to someone who knows what they're doing instead of your friends with bad advice. All right. So, there's different ways we do this. If you look on your study guides, we have eclectic therapies, which are a therapy style that results in combining different types of therapies. So sometimes you do straight up psychotherapy. Sometimes you do psychotherapy and behavioral therapy. Sometimes you do psychotherapy and a little bit of dream analysis thrown in there. Yes, Max?
Is this 12?
No, this is on your study guide. What?
What should we do with our,
Pass them to Valentino, your quizzes.
yay.
You don't have to put them in order, though.
What are we supposed to quiz for today? Do we just put
I
that?
know.
We can leave it blank, or you can write 10
I
out
was
of
just
10.
gonna
I don't
make
care.
sure, like, if we were gonna leave for long, they wanted to help by our vocab.
I have lunch next, and I am so excited.
I can manage
Your day in.
Would you like a tangerine instead?
Oh, no, I'm just crushing apple. Thank you. All right, so eclectic theories is you're pulling from whatever you like. You use whatever you like. Just leave them in a pile, my darling.
I know.
Are you okay?
No, life. I woke up at 3 o'clock on Sunday morning in a panic attack.
Oh,
It's a terrible way to wake up.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay. Got me motivated. I'm super ready for AP mock exams now. Made a lot of copies today.
Oh, great.
My annual panic attack. So ready for it.
Every year I have panic attacks starting around this time.
That's horrible.
It is. It's really stressful. It's really hard doing all this. And getting you guys ready for a review and all that crap, it's really stressful. You are, no.
What do we put for application
For what? Eclectic therapy, a little bit of psychotherapy in my life, a little bit of cognitive by my side. Yeah! How often do you got a little Lou Bega reference?
Never. That's the way I like it.
Max! Alright, and therapeutic alliance is a relationship between a client which is warm, caring, accepting. You should genuinely enjoy your therapist. You shouldn't dread going to therapy. If you ever get a therapist and you're like, oh, I don't want to go to therapy, then you have the wrong therapist. Try someone else. Okay, try someone else. There's someone out there that will gel with you, that will be a good match for you. You should definitely do it. And if you are struggling with family stuff, friend stuff, texting your best friend during Miss Bennett's AP Psych class, whatever type of issue you have, there's a therapist who can help you. Everyone else has been done for 20
Not
minutes.
doing your homework.
But did index cards, so maybe he is in therapy.
Really
Yes.
good one.
Huh? All right, here we go. So, culture and psychotherapy. Obviously, therapy here in the United States, is it seen as a good thing or as a bad thing?
Bad.
Bad. It has a negative connotation to it. However, it is evolving, so that's a good thing. There are 4 major barriers. This is number 12, by the way, on your focus. The 4 barriers to effective psychotherapy are the backgrounds of the client and the therapist. When you decide to get a therapist, and I hope you all do, especially before and during like major transitions, like McCray and I, even though we've always gotten along really well, never perfect, but we've always gotten along well, we did marriage counseling before we got married just to make sure we were on the same page on everything. If we ever decide to have a child,
No.
Probably never. We'll definitely go to marriage counseling again and just make sure everyone's on the same page, making sure that we're on the same team. But right now, absolutely not. We're not even on the same damn team about the dog.
Yeah, wait, what's the team?
That's hilarious.
I wanted to
You want to keep
No, he's like useless. My husband during busy season is completely useless and it drives me insane.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I know, but great. I mean, he's completely useless. He can't
Bennett.
even put dishes in a sink. He can't even clean up after himself. I know he doesn't look at the washer and dryer machine. He doesn't know how those work anymore. What? He did, and he acted like a damn martyr. He acted like he saved the world.
Bennett books.
Anyway, so when you get a therapist, you should have a therapist that looks like you, comes from a similar background. I am white, female, from Massachusetts, so I'm Catholic. Okay, I want to find someone who looks like me, who comes from a similar background. Why? So we can I can relate easily to them. They understand where I'm coming from, and we can have that authenticity, correct? So when I talk about my crazy overbearing mother, she's going to be like, oh my God, we have the same one. Like, yes. Does she call you every time you get on the phone with her, which I talked to her twice this weekend? And she's like, don't forget, we love grandbabies. Click.
You see that?
Yes.
the hard no.
Then you need to have the same language. I think that makes a lot of sense. It's hard to have a psychotherapy or talking therapy when you don't speak the same language. Cultural values, okay? I don't know if you notice, I'm a bit of a feminist. I hide it pretty well. Most people don't know. They're actually really surprised by that. Yeah, I know. I know, it's so exciting. With that being said, I want someone who shares the same values. So when I am loud and outspoken and I demand to be heard, my therapist should not be saying, Sam, women don't speak like that. That would not help. Social class, I shouldn't be, I have nothing in common with very, very, very poor, low socioeconomic people. Okay? I don't know that struggle. I can't communicate with them. I also have nothing in common with the incredibly wealthy people of our country. I've always worked 2 to 3 jobs. I have no guaranteed money in my life. So I have nothing in common with someone who comes from the high end of wealth. And then nonverbal communication. I'm highly expressive on my face. Can you tell? I also keep this pretty well hidden. You don't know what I'm thinking of with my face. And so I need to have someone who doesn't get offended when I make my faces. Okay? So you have to find the right match. Cyber therapy. What a doozy. Cyber therapy is a psychotherapy that's offered on the internet. And that you can talk to a therapist day or night online. You can text them or you can do video chats with them. It's actually becoming one of the biggest ways that therapists are now reaching clients. In the book I'm reading, or I was reading it, now I'm not, called The Woman in the Window, she does cyber therapy as a way to continue making money because she has agoraphobia disorder. She has agoraphobia, which means she has a fear of open spaces, so she doesn't leave her house. So the only way she can make money is by doing this. There you go.
Wait, what?
What, yeah.
Intro.
Yeah. I think I'd rather sit with a person. But it's whatever you like. Some people do therapy sessions via text.
I don't understand that.
Could you imagine how awful that would be?
The amount of emojis you would actually have to send
I guess.
to anyone understand anything.
I think you would have to sit at a computer and do it. Just type it out.
Take pictures of yourself. This is my expression. Take a selfie.
Thank you, Valentina. Very insightful. All right, can I change it?
Yes. Okay.
All right, we got to get to the cool stuff here. So, psychotherapy can be used to treat disorders. Sorry, I'm not trying to be a brat. I just want to make sure that positive and negative is psychotherapy. All right, so positive and negatives. Negatives is that it's no human interaction. that you need to feel connected, and this is what our society is lacking, is human interaction. Yes, I am.
Hey. Stay free.
32, 1 minute. Perfect. Good thing is that tomorrow we start the drugs.
Ooh, fun.
So that is a little more interesting than psychotherapy. Goodbye. Have a good day.